After 10 years of marriage, my relationship with my husband had become just a facade. During this time, I had to be hospitalized for a certain reason. My husband, prioritizing his affair, smirked and said, "Stay in the hospital forever." I thought our marriage was probably over, but soon after, an event gave me a glimmer of hope. My name is Lily, and I'm 38. After graduating from nursing school, I work as a nurse at a university hospital near my new home. My husband's name is Ethan. We met when I was 26, thanks to an introduction by my father. I never really cared about romance during my student years and never had a boyfriend. Even after becoming a working adult, I was engrossed in my job. My concerned father introduced me to someone thinking about my future.
"Lily, there's a young man, a son of a friend of mine. I'd like you to meet him."
On my 26th birthday, my father hesitantly approached me with this. "So you want me to have dinner with this guy you're introducing?"
"Yes, but he's a really good person. So his son must be a good guy too."
"I'm fine, Dad. I'm only 26.
"If you keep saying that, you'll be 30 in no time. You never seem interested in these things."
After some persistent urging from my father, I reluctantly agreed to the dinner. But it's not like I didn't want to get married. If the guy was nice, I'd consider the possibility of marriage. At dinner, he took the initiative to converse. Like me, he wasn't into flashy hobbies and enjoyed reading and hiking. I thought I could have a peaceful married life with him. After dating for a year, we got married when I was 27. The first 3 years were peaceful without any issues. We both worked, but we spent weekends together, dining out and getting along well. However, around our 4th year of marriage, Ethan began to change. The trigger was likely the death of my father-in-law, who introduced us. He passed away about 5 years into our marriage. Father-in-law always treated me like his own daughter. His death was devastating, and I cried for days. One day, Ethan brought up a topic.
"Lily, starting next month, Mom will be living with us."
"What? Why all of a sudden?"
"Isn't it obvious? With Dad gone, we can't leave Mom alone."
"But she's still healthy and can take care of herself."
"That doesn't matter. If something happens to Mom, can you take responsibility?"
I was caught off guard as he sternly said this.
"Sorry, but in our family, Mom comes before you. She wants to live with us, and we can't ignore that."
"What about my feelings?"
"As a wife, you should listen to your husband. Or do you want divorce?"
"Divorce." Just like that. The word divorce from Ethan without hesitation terrified me. Why would he mention divorce so casually? We had always lived happily as a couple. Why prioritize his mother over me so easily? Although I felt anger, I couldn't retort. I couldn't divorce easily thinking of my father who was overjoyed at our marriage. Moreover, I knew my mother-in-law disliked me. She wasn't pleased with father-in-law's affection for me or our living alone in our new home. After father-in-law's death, her attitude towards me seemed more apparent. Now, living with her was inevitable. I spent many heavy-hearted days. The next month, mother-in-law moved into our condo. From day one, she said to me, "Lily, I'll be educating you from now on." "Educating?" "Yes, I'll teach you to be the perfect wife for Ethan." "But we've been living just fine." "Don't talk back, just listen to what I say as our daughter-in-law." From that point on, mother-in-law's harassment escalated. She constantly criticized the meals I prepared and watched me like a hawk while I cleaned. Every task I did was met with complaints. Even I was getting worn out from this daily torment. A year into living with mother-in-law, I finally opened up to Ethan. After he returned from work, I broached the subject. Ethan, about mother-in-law.
Don't tell me you're gonna badmouth her.
It's not about bad-mouthing, it's just hard being criticized daily about meals and being told how to clean.
She's just trying to help you, isn't she?
But I hesitated and Ethan sighed deeply. The old me would have backed down seeing his attitude, but I felt like I was breaking. Thinking so, I confessed my feelings to him once again. I pleaded, "Please, Ethan, I can't keep living like this. I know mother-in-law dislikes me, but I just want to be treated like a normal family member."
What's that supposed to mean? Don't make it sound like it's all Mom's fault.
I'm not. I'll try to improve based on mother-in-law's feedback, please.
Ugh, so annoying. If you have a problem, talk to Mom directly. It's none of my business.
With that, Ethan left the living room grumbling. I was heartbroken to see him side with mother-in-law so easily. After that, my weekdays were consumed by work, and at home, I constantly faced mother-in-law's complaints. I became a robot just doing as I was told. Ethan started coming home less and less. He'd return in the early hours, leave early on Saturdays, and come back late on Sundays. Our conversations were minimal, and there was no intimacy. This life continued for about 4 years, and our relationship no longer felt like a marriage. Then, one day, Ethan and mother-in-law were out, and I was alone at home. I noticed Ethan's tablet on the table. He usually carries this with him. Did he forget it today? The tablet is something Ethan always carries with him. He usually carries it with him every time he goes out, but it seems he forgot about it that day. Out of curiosity, I opened it up. It wasn't locked. It seemed to be synced with Ethan's mobile phone. I saw emails, WhatsApp, photo folders, and other apps. A thought crossed my mind. Ethan always said he was working late. But where did he go on his days off? Upon reflection, several things seemed off. His constant phone usage, his cold demeanor, his frequent absences. I hadn't thought about it before because of mother-in-law's presence, but once I started, the oddities about Ethan became clearer. Could it be? The worst possible scenario crosses my mind. I found myself searching his tablet for evidence. Minutes later, my suspicions were confirmed. There were numerous WhatsApp messages with a woman named Mia. "Today was fun. I want to be lovey-dovey with you again, Ethan."
Me too. I hate going back to a home with a useless wife and annoying mom.
Why don't you leave that wife of yours? I want to be with you, Ethan.
I want to be with you too, Mia. I'll leave her soon. Just wait a bit longer.
Ethan's phone was filled with messages that were unexpectedly sweet, something I'd never expect from him. When I checked his photo gallery, there were multiple pictures of him with a woman I assumed was his mistress. Why? How could he? Cheating is just too cruel. I sent all the evidence to my own phone and took a moment to process everything. That's when I first considered divorce. Some might wonder why I hadn't thought of it sooner, but with all the issues with my mother-in-law, I was mentally drained. If I hadn't had some alone time today, I might never have discovered his affair. It was only because my mother-in-law was out that I found the evidence. From that day, I took action. I secretly visited a lawyer's office without telling Ethan or my mother-in-law and explained everything. After showing the evidence, the lawyer said,
"With this, you can get a favorable divorce."
2 weeks after deciding on the divorce, everything was going smoothly until one day, I collapsed at work. After some tests, the doctor said it was due to exhaustion. They advised me to be hospitalized for a few days. Of all the times for this to happen, I was frustrated, but I knew I had to focus. I needed to get out of the hospital and proceed with the divorce. For now, I had no choice but to follow the doctor's orders. I called Ethan to bring me some essentials. After a few rings, he answered with an annoyed voice.
"What do you want?"
I collapsed at work and I have to be hospitalized for a bit.
"You're in a hospital?"
Yes, I need you to bring me some clothes. Before I could finish, I heard Ethan laughing on the other end. At a loss for words, he declares calmly,
"Why should I bother with that? I'm busy, you know."
I know you're busy, but I don't have anyone else to ask.
Just buy something from the hospital store, and just so you know, I'm not paying a dime.
You can't be serious.
Just stay in the hospital forever. Bye.
He hung up before I could say anything. I was livid. Even though his wife is hospitalized, he doesn't even bring a change of clothes? He must have thought I was just having fun. So much fun at the hospital. I won't let this go. I'll make him pay. During my hospital stay, I hired a detective to investigate Ethan. After being discharged, I didn't return to our condo. In the meantime, I stayed with a close colleague who rented an apartment near my workplace. According to the detective, Ethan was on a trip with his mistress. And my mother-in-law? She was enjoying her time alone in the condo. Like mother, like son. No one seemed to care about me. I'll continue with my plans, and when everything's ready, I'll initiate the divorce through my lawyer. The next day, during my lunch break, my phone rang. It was my mother-in-law. Had she finally realized I was out of the hospital? I didn't want to talk to her, but she kept calling. Reluctantly, I answered. Hello?
Lily, where are you?
You've been discharged, right? Yes, I have. Why? It's Ethan. He's been in an accident and taken to the hospital. An accident? Apparently, Ethan lied about the affair and told her he was on a trip with friends. My mother-in-law kept repeating he had an accident on his trip with friends. You need to come to the hospital now. I had to go to the hospital? Ridiculous. Why should I worry about a man who had an accident on a cheating trip? I coldly told my mother-in-law, I get the situation, but I'm not going to see him. He's a stranger to me now.
What?
Didn't you hear? I said he's a stranger. A stranger. Wait, what are you saying? You're Ethan's wife. You're not strangers. Ignoring my words, mother-in-law kept complaining. I didn't hold back. You might not know, but he was cheating on me.
What? Cheating? Ethan?
Yes, all those overtime excuses were lies. He met his mistress almost every weekend. This trip, just another one of their getaways. No way. Ethan cheated? He wouldn't. If you can't believe it, that's fine. But it's true. I'm already preparing for divorce, so goodbye. Wait, please. I hung up before mother-in-law could say anything more. I didn't contact Ethan and certainly didn't visit him in the hospital. A few days later, Ethan called. The moment I answered, he yelled, "Why didn't you come to see me?" I coldly replied, "Why? You know exactly why. You didn't visit me, yet you have the nerve to ask that?"
What do you mean?
Did you enjoy your trip with Mia?
How do you know about Mia?
I could hear the tremor in Ethan's voice. I decided to take it slow. You cheated, right? I know everything. He desperately tried to explain.
It was just a one-time thing. I wasn't serious. Please forgive me.
No matter what he said, I had no intention of forgiving him. The humiliation from him and mother-in-law would never fade. Memories of the pain resurfaced, and anger welled up. I said it strongly, as if to clear up the resentment I had accumulated up until now. I lashed out. You never helped with mother-in-law. You cheated and didn't even visit me. How could I forgive you now? I've lost all trust in you. Why didn't you visit? Stop playing games. Always saying what's convenient for you.
It's not like that. Lily, please forgive me.
Shut up. We're nothing anymore. The divorce is in progress. I don't plan on having anything to do with you. Stay out of my life. I'll make sure you and your mistress pay. Be ready. I hung up and deleted his number. Later, with the help of a lawyer, Ethan and I divorced. He was at a significant disadvantage, so the divorce went smoothly. I demanded compensation in the divorce settlement. As a result, he and his mistress went into debt. Apparently, due to the accident's aftermath, Ethan became paralyzed from the waist down. When his mistress found out, she quickly left him. Now, Ethan, bound to a wheelchair, lives with mother-in-law. I heard they constantly argue, a strained relationship. As for me, I'm enjoying my life alone. I've received a hefty settlement from the divorce and plan to relax for a while. I feel bad for my parents, who were happy about our marriage, but I don't regret my decision. From now on, I want to live my life free from interference.